We are live. Yes, it is UK Cowboys TV Season 2, episode number 90. Woo-hoo! 90 of these of us rambling on like idiots. Beautiful. Yep. And it's the pre-game show. Go on, Paul. Go for it.
I was going to say thanks for keeping up and listening to our absolute shenanigans.
Yeah, and they are shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, it is the pre-game show, guys, for the Baltimore Ravens game that is kicking off tonight. You're in the UK at 5 minutes past 1 in the morning.
Wednesday, technically Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah. So on the energy drinks to keep us up into the long hours. But this week, I have the Scottish members of UK Cowboys TV, the tinsel and bauble of UK Cowboys TV, I should say. Yeah, Mr. Paul Stewart and Graham Wilson. How you doing, guys?
Good. No, not too bad. Just a bit. I'm actually quite annoyed the fact that this game is actually tonight rather than Sunday, because the Baltimore Ravens are a piece of shit. And I'm going to say that right now. Like, I'm going to throw this right in the air right now, and everyone that's listening to the show right now, if the Denver Broncos played without a quarterback, then why can't the Baltimore Ravens? Someone explain that to me, because I think that is the biggest pile of shite I've ever seen.
It doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever.
What do you reckon, Gray?
I would put up more of a fight if it meant more, to be quite honest. But
it's the morals of it, though. The morals. The problem is, though, Graham, sorry, I'm going to add another point. The problem is, when you start rescheduling stuff, right, it's going to cut the time of preparation for every team for the next game. It's going to have more higher risk of injuries and God knows what else. So that's the other point. Sorry, Graham. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I mean, because obviously they're going to play tomorrow or tonight, whichever way you look at it. Get home. Obviously, it's going to be Wednesday morning in Texas when the Cowboys land. Then they're back on the plane to go off back to Ohio to go play Cincinnati then on Sunday.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Or are you enjoying it? Do you think it's good, Gray?
I don't. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know the Ravens situation, but I certainly know that the Broncos was definitely self-inflicted. To have all four QBs in the same room, unmasked, is absolute ludicrousy to me. Why you can't have even your practice squad QB on a Skype call, I don't know. But to shove all your QBs in the same room, utterly ridiculous. I don't know if if you guys know different, if the Ravens have done something similar, or if they've simply just contracted it one after the other in different circumstances. Possibly I could let that one go. But to me, it means less to the Cowboys, to be quite frank, because if I would be more concerned if we had a winning record and if we had a shout at the playoffs. If we were to play somebody like a contender, I think there would be more noise involved. It's different situations, but for us to have to play effectively on to land in Dallas on a Wednesday and then go straight out for the next game, it is harsh. It's tougher than playing a Sunday night and a Thursday game, in my opinion. It's really, really poor. But these are highly paid professionals, and I think the message at the end of the day should be, let's just get on with it. But like Paul says, not ideal, and I feel like I can't judge the Ravens because I don't know their situation, to be quite honest.
It should not matter. It shouldn't matter. Like for the Broncos, they got punished for it, but whereas the Ravens, they just lost pretty much one player. they've got backups. There should be no excuse for them to reschedule. There should be no excuse.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, and like, let's be honest. Like, going into the game, I'm not going to like. We'll put our predictions later on, but I'm not thrilled about this game in general because how we're playing right now. But I'm more about the integrity of the league, so to speak.
To keep it fair.
It's all about keeping it fair, right?
Yeah.
And it's also to look out for the players' health more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like for them to bring that fucking Lamar Jackson back into the game just short off the COVID list, which needs to say he might still actually bloody have it. Who knows? It might take a day after for the results again, doing that test, whatever not. Like there's still an risk. If I was the Ravens, I'd still bench it and play the backup quarterback and just play a different game plan. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like we did that with bloody when Andy Dalton got off. We still played. We actually played with a practice squad quarterback and still played even though we got beat. You know, it's just the pure morals of being in fairness. Don't reschedule just because the star franchise player of the NFL Madden 21 face cover cannot play a fucking game. Sorry, but fuck off. I'm sorry. Fuck right off. I'm sorry I'm going off on an absolute tangent here, but I just find it's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
It is annoying. It is frustrating. And like you say, it's just about keeping things on an even keel. And sometimes we know that, especially being Cowboys fans, even keel don't always work out.
Apologise to everyone watching. Normally, I try and keep my mouth clean as possible, which is quite difficult to do sometimes. But in this issue, try and be as fair as possible. Try and win things the good way, rather than gift a team that's already kind of like marketable, like the Ravens are right now. I'm sorry, but that's just absolute bullshit. It really is. It really is just absolute bullshit.
Well, I mean, I can cast some positive light on everything as we get through it. I'm going to ask you to see some questions, and it'll make you rejig and be like, okay, good point. But let's get into some breaking news first of all, guys. In news, injury updates, and all the rest of it. Look, it's all...
Big shout out to Law Thomas. How we doing, my man?
Yeah. I sent him a message, actually, today. Hopefully we get to have a chat with him sometime soon, maybe in the off season. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, we've got some breaking news coming in. So first of all, we're getting to the injury updates. The big one, of course, is our guard Zach Martin is now officially on IR. Looks like they're going to shut him down for the season. So
FML.
yeah. But we've got another two that are probably even more debilitating than that. We have a safety who's really rising through the ranks. Donovan Wilson, he's out. So yeah.
Mike, you said there was going to be good news tonight.
There will be good news. But what I do is I create a shit sandwich. So give you the bad, and then the good is in the middle. Yeah.
Let us know when the good starts.
It's coming.
Well, if you're talking about shit sandwiches, just gave me a diarrhea sandwich there. Cheers, mate.
Oh man, you do have some lovely cinnamons.
Where the God?
I don't know. Yeah, it's getting late, and it's only going to get worse as the night goes on. But also, moving on with the injuries is Anthony Brown. He's out as well. So defensive backs becoming an issue. But earlier on in the week, they did sign DeAndre Burton and Rashad Robinson up from the practice squad. And earlier on tonight or today, depending where you're watching, they've also brought in tackle Jordan Mills and cornerback Savion Smith, who we actually covered during our...
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. He's actually been brought up to... Whether we see him or not is yet to be seen. Not too sure on that one. The only other one that
probably make appearance in special teams or something.
I think so. That's more the sort of role really you'd be looking at, I would say, with him. But the only other questionable is Alden Smith with illness, not COVID related. So he's I think he'll play by the sounds of how it's going.
Was it stomach problems or something like that? He's got stomach.
Yeah. You were talking about diarrhea sandwich. Maybe that's what it was.
Oh, don't. Wait. Let's move on from the shit sandwich idea. Let's move on for that.
Yeah. So, all right then, guys. As always, make sure you send us your comments, what you think the score will be, how do you think players are going to get on, all the rest of it. Just send in your comments, tell us how you think the game is going on. And before we get going, just need to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is Cowboys Experience. Obviously, this year, definitely this year is what I was trying to say, is out of the question. But next year and going forward, there are some other things going on with them. We did have the owner of Cowboys Experience on for the Thanksgiving show, told us a few bits and pieces. But if you are going to go to a game next year, make sure you book it through Cowboys Experience. They have game day tickets, stadium tours, and tailgate parties you won't want to miss. And, of course, use the booking code. Anyone?
UK Cowboys.
Get some free shit.
Not just that, I don't know if you may have noticed the picture there, but our very own Law Thomas there was actually in the promo picture there, so big shout out
He
to Law
was.
Thomas. Yeah.
What's really mad is I was speaking to Laura earlier, sent him a message, just trying to get something sorted. You know what it's like, the guests and all right, because we did have one lined up for this very show.
Yep. Do you want to show off the score prediction already? Law's already sent it in.
Come on then.
Right,
let's get our first one. 28-24 Cowboys. Mine is very similar.
I would love that to happen.
Mine is very similar. It's a little higher than that, but I've already written mine down. But it's fairly similar to that. But first of all, guys, let's get on to the Cowboys offense then, all right? So we got some few things to go through, but the first thing I thought I wanted to touch on with you guys is if you agree or disagree with this statement, is Amari Cooper the most underrated player on the Cowboys team right now?
Yes.
What do you reckon, Greg?
Underrated?
Yes.
He's like the silent assassin.
Probably. I'm struggling to think of somebody that is having a bigger impact, but flying under the radar.
Yes.
Like it's funny you mention it. It's like flying under the radar. It's like no one's raving about Cooper, but he's still putting in the work.
He's actually on pace to have a career season.
Yeah, I just think he's one of the kind of shining lights, and there's too much dulling of that light at the moment. Like nobody cares that Cooper's putting up all these yards and touchdowns when we're getting thumped heavily, by division rivals and so on. It's like, to rephrase the question, it's almost like who deserves the least amount of kind of bad press and bad publicity is Cooper, I would say at the moment. Thank goodness we kept him, because it allows CeeDee Lamb to do what he does.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Michael Gallup's kind of been reduced to a flash player.
Yeah.
He gets very little target, but he does make some spectacular catches and some important catches, which don't necessarily show up in the stats. It's difficult to.
I think we can all recall the last big major play that Gallup did was against the Giants when Dalton came in, and ever since then it's just kind of been. He's just not appeared. Like he may have a wee catch and grab for 10 yards, but there's no been big major play compared to CD or Amari right now. So he has kind of feels like he's been phased out a little bit. Yeah, it's just supporting your point there, Graham. Sorry.
Yeah. And like the reason I'm going there is that at the moment he's having a career season, and not a lot of people are actually talking about this. And when you think about it, he's doing that at a time when he has a quarterback that's being completely harassed because of a poor O-line. You know, we've got undrafted free agents protecting him, trying to keep him upright. And at a time when Zeke in his yards per carry are at his lowest, and with Dak Prescott on IR or out for the season, and he's doing this. And just to give you an idea of where he's at, he's catching he has nearly a 3/4, so 75% catch rate, which is really, really good. But he's top 10 in receptions, in first downs, targets, yards per game, and he has 0 fumbles.
That's... But yeah,
what more can you ask for from a wide receiver? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't pass interfere.
That's a great shout, Graham. That's a great shout. When have you ever heard Amari Cooper doing any passing interference?
Having a flag.
Or getting flagged?
Exactly.
When have you ever heard? That's a great shout, Graham.
It's just a shame he's not on a winning team doing it. It's
yeah.
His issue, I think, why he's going so underrated and why he's not getting talked about is he is a very placid and not really an outspoken player. He's quiet.
He's a very quiet individual, but he shouldn't be criticised for that. But he does his talking on the field.
No. I'm not saying he should be criticised, but I'm saying the reason that a lot of people are overlooking him and he goes under the radar is because he don't talk that much.
The other problem he's dealing with is that I think the double coverage is getting to him this year. He only has 3 touchdowns. But again, that's got a lot to do with Dak. Because you would imagine that Dalton doesn't have the ability to fit the ball in like Dak does. But I mean, he's still 848 yards. Yeah. You know, you can't sniff at that. That's incredible for the year our offense is having. That stands out. I mean, that's 77 games. Yeah. That's 77 yards a game. Yeah, he's one of the few shining lights on the team, and luckily he's tied down for the next few years. He's definitely a building block.
Yeah.
As is our receiver core.
Don't forget, he's only 26.
Yeah, he is only 20. I mean, he started.
He came into the league super young.
Was he 20 or 21 when he started?
Just 21.
He's the same age as Calvin Ridley, who was drafted 2 years later, were they not?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, but just want to add in as well. Welcome aboard, and Valente and Errol. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes, hello to everybody. Send us your questions, comments, as always, guys. We will read them out.
Yep, everybody.
Yeah, we'll read everything out, or as best as we can. Sometimes we get carried away. In fact, we almost missed the start of the show because we were all in mid-conversation.
Well, I was in mid-beer.
Mid-beer. That's fine. But right then, guys, something to look at then. All right, guys, that I wrote a little piece. I don't know if you've seen it yesterday in the UK Cowboys update about keys to victory. One of the things I put is on defense, stop the run. I think that's pretty much important. But on offense, establish the run. Establish the run is key. Whenever we get Zeke going, we barely ever lose. So I think in this particular game, most certainly, I don't know what you guys think, Zeke in this game is far more important than Dalton. What do you think?
Absolutely. Well, one for start, I need 20 points from Zeke to win my fantasy football. That's a start.
I'm with you there. I'm exactly the same.
But in general, though, if we're going to have to do something, we need to play some smash mouth football right at the gate and ram it down their throats, straight down the middle. We really need to. We need to send a message out for the running game and actually make them fear Zeke and beat Tony. We need to.
Definitely, without a doubt. Do you think as well, though, that if we rely heavily on Zeke, we'll get a nice little sprinkling of Tony Pollard as well this week. I think that's going to be something of an option.
You would like to think so, but we only saw it once, and that's the problem. We've been screaming on the podcast about consistency and the lack of it. As soon as you saw a 1-2 punch, lo and behold, we end up with a win. It's not coincidence. As soon as we get the run game going, things happen for us. But again, another fumble from Zeke against Washington. But see, towards the start and the middle of the season, we kind of wrote it off, uncharacteristic for Zeke. But I'm going to put it to you guys that it's something he needs to fix. It's creeping into Zeke's game now. 1, 2, 3 fumbles. Yeah, okay, you're having a rough, sticky patch. Another one against Washington. This is getting worse. Ball security is a problem, especially for one of your cornerstones. This is uncharacteristic from Zeke. I don't know where it's coming from. It's whether it's mental errors, whether it feels like he's doing too much, he's trying to do too much.
Potentially, it could. I'm going to bring up this comment because Austin just made a good, and this kind of leads up to Zeke. Do we think our line can create the gaps for the run? The only time Zeke has done well is when he just followed Zach Martin. I mean, that's a good, valid point. So I think it's yin and yang. It's like we need our O-line to perform as well, but and Zeke to hit those gaps, because I think there's been a total we've seen more Zeke getting hit in the backfield the most in his whole career. The
issue you've got is when you start rattling off the names for the starting O-line for this game, where it's going to be Terrence Steele. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll just go through it. I mean, I wanted to get into the O-line, so it was quite handy. You got Terrence Steele, so Conor McGovern, who I think is doing okay, not bad. You got Joe Looney back at center. Then you got Connor Williams, who is slowly getting back up to scratch. It's left tackle that seems to be the issue.
No,
I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what they're doing there yet. I still have nowhere who's playing the position yet.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I was not too thrilled with Conor McGovern. I'll be honest. After watching Big Game James's review of the film,
yeah,
like the mistakes in his pass blocking and run block.
Next week's special guest, Big Game James.
Yep. So, I completely agree with what Big Game James, I can even say it. Big Game James was saying about Conor McGovern. Like it was really rookie errors he was making. Like wasn't making the right reads, and when it was slow to react when it comes to the blocks and stuff like that. So, and that's what opened up a whole can of worms that game for Washington in the middle.
Yeah, but I mean. When we were saying that, I mean, like, it was like he was coming on. He's still not, I would say, a first-class offensive lineman, but he's getting up. He should be further along, mind you, than
he should be.
Right now.
Yeah, like that performance last week set him back a bit. There's no mistake saying that. He should be at a stage where he can fit in, because he's been this is his second season, correct?
Yes.
Right, so he's had time to follow the likes of Zach Martin, and I've got my issues with Connor Williams as well. I still think he's undersized and still not got the physical attributes to play guard. That's my personal opinion, but he still had to read over with Zach Martin over those course of a year and a half being with the Cowboys, and yet Is it down to practice? Is he getting enough reps to kind of show what he's capable of doing? But we don't know. So it could be that. Because even when we did draft him, we were actually quite happy that we did. Because back in college, he was really good back then.
Yeah. The only other shining light that was on our that was on our O-line was Tyler Biadasz, but he's out now with a hammy until the end of the season. He was
Mr. Badass.
He was doing great.
I mean, Kellen Moore and the Cowboys' strength and conditioning and medical teams must be best friends just now. Moore must be around that medical tent building every single day. Who can you give me? Who's coming back? Please give me some good news. The guy must wake up in a cold sweat every single morning. I mean, I challenge any offensive coordinator to go through 5 major injuries in the offensive line and your QB and have questionable running back play and challenge them to get a winning season, because that's incredible.
I've just got a picture in my mind of what that locker room must be like. It'll be like the scenes of Any Given Sunday of the medic. You know what? Do you know the scene I'm talking about with the IV drip and stuff like that, with the needles and stuff like that?
Yeah,
that's our medical team right now. It's like just give me that injection, I'll jump out or something like that. You know,
that's the cortisone.
It wouldn't surprise me if Adam Redmond walked into the offensive line meetings and wonder if he'd missed the meeting because there's nobody else there.
That's quite funny, actually. Like, on a sad note.
I mean, this is going to be my tactic for the rest of the season. It's going to be to put a joke and a spin on everything, just to lift our spirits. But I mean, really, see, when you consider what that offensive meeting room was like the middle of July compared to what it is now, you can see guys going about with name badges on. You know, like. What position do you play?
The issues that you're going to have with the O-line, they are warranted when you look at the defensive line that the Ravens have. I mean, it's not a widely great defense, but it is effective. And especially, you know, you've got the likes of people like Calais Campbell. Patrick Queen is coming along quite nicely as well. He's having a great season at the moment. You got Yannick Ngakoue as well. You know,
wonderful.
And you know, Brandon Williams. These are guys where you look at and you go, but their defense, where they are phenomenal, where they're great at this season, they're actually second in forced fumbles. And when you was talking about Zeke with the fumble issues and all the rest of it, Zeke has 6 fumbles on the year. And the Ravens, they've caused 11 fumbles.
That's 1 in 2 games. That's not good. That's not good from a premium running back. That's not good.
And then when you look at it, they're causing a forced fumble every game.
Yeah. It's I mean, that's been the Steelers kind of, that's their Wikipedia entry. They play great defense, they run the ball, and they have serviceable receivers. And just Lamar Jackson only adds to the potency of that offense. I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll go on to the Ravens offense, but I mean,
I've got a really good comment for our very own Lorne. Makes a really good point here. Still surprised that Steele is a better option than Jordan Mills with 83 NFL starts and Greg Senat. That is a good question.
I mean, Senat is the one that very much could be playing on the, because still, there's no clue what's going on. I've got no news that's coming out on what they're doing on that side. But sticking with the Ravens defense, mind, it's not just the forced fumbles. If you have a look at it, their tackles for loss are just coming from everywhere on that D-line. It is insane.
It's frightening.
It's crazy.
It's frightening. I mean, that is not a 6-5 defense. I would say the Ravens' record is down to their ability to score points. It's not the defense.
Hold on, like I'm just but the Ravens are 6-5.
Yeah.
That's news to me. I thought they were 8-3 or something like
that. No, they are struggling. They're struggling offensively, which is what's random.
Yeah, they've got just looking from a You're right, Paul?
I was going to say that goes back to my bloody point. What's the point having them playing on a fucking Wednesday when you could have played them on a fucking Sunday? Fuck you, NFL.
Coming back to that.
Sorry.
But yeah, the from top to bottom, we're still talking Ravens defense. From top to bottom, they have every position they're well above average because they spend capital. They spend capital in defense. I would say the only kind of splash play they made was to go up and get Jackson all those that couple of years ago. But even goes recently as Patrick Queen, he's come in and done extremely well.
I like Patrick Queen. I loved it. I loved him in the draft.
Yeah,
I mean, we talked about him.
They have safeties. They have safeties we would die for. you know?
Yeah, we even talked about potentially drafting Patrick Queen at one point.
We did. We looked into Patrick Queen. You're quite right. And I mean, like you say, they got safeties. We were talking about the forced fumbles. Marlon Humphrey is actually leading the team in forced fumbles.
Yeah,
mate.
Yeah, and
it's wild.
Mental.
I mean, Marcus Peters is a corner, isn't he?
Yes.
Top tackler, top tackler against the Steelers. So it's not like, I mean, teams are even going after Marcus Peters, and he's dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's not like the Byron Jones situation where they're staying away from Byron Jones and whoever he has covered up. They're targeting Peters, and Peters is coming up with the tackles. So even if they do that, get the completion, it's not going downfield. They stop your drive, particularly in the red zone.
Graham, you know what the crazy part is the fact that they cut and we keep talking about this player throughout the whole season, like someone we need. They cut ties with this particular player, and look, they've actually gotten better without him.
Yeah. I mean, they've ID'd him as a bad egg. Got rid of that bad egg, and they're all the better for it.
Yep.
And no wonder he's not signed. No wonder.
Yep.
Yes. But I mean, the good thing is for the Cowboys defense is that, for the Cowboys offense is that although the Ravens, they don't give up a lot of points, I think they can be beaten on the ground. I do believe in that personally, that if we can get Zeke running, establish the run, especially up the middle, if we can get him hammering into the linebackers to get because you got to bear in mind, the one good thing Zeke does do well is the dirty yards. He's always able, when you watch it, you're like, oh no. And then all of a sudden, what looks like is going to be a no-game play turns into this random 4-yard, where he's carrying guys on his back. And I think that's how you beat them. And then from that, the big thing you've got, we've got, as we were speaking about, underrated Amari Cooper, right? But I think that's going to bring on coverage because they'll establish a run, leaving CD Lamb wide open, and he's going to be the guy who takes it to pay dirt.
When you mentioned establishing a run, we need to make sure that the O-line does their job as well.
O-line needs to do the job first,
Like that first and foremost, right? There's no Zeke can still try and get those dirty yards, but if the gaps are not there, where is he going to go? He needs some type of gaps. No doubt the linebackers are going to come in and try and slow him down after he gets past the line of scrimmage. There's no doubt about that. And this is where you get the dirty yards, the 4 yards, the 3 yards, whatever, and that makes a big difference. But if the O-line could not get that gap, any gap, the B gap, A gap, C gap, whatever, it's game's a bogey.
Yeah, I mean it's just exactly what Paul's saying. Which running back tandem's going to turn up? Is it the one we saw against the Redskins? Because if it's that one, we're stuffed. If we can get the 1-2 punch we saw a couple of weeks ago, there's every chance. But that 1-2 punch was with Zach Martin, a premium guard and a premium tackle at the time. He's gone now. I mean, there's it's so circumstantial. I mean, we're literally pulling guys off the street. We don't know who our left tackle is, and the game kicks off in 4 hours.
I'm
It's
sure they know.
frightening.
I'm just saying that I don't. I've asked the question and I haven't had an answer.
It's
I'm sure they know.
Guys, if you're watching right now, like if you know what we don't know, if you know who our tackle is going to be, send the comments in, guys, please.
I think to be honest with you, the way that it's going, I think it'll be Sanat. That's how I see it. When looking at the depth chart, it has to be, or it doesn't have to be, but that looks like the way it's going to go. And you just need really your bookends, your tackles either side, just to hold, and Andy Dalton not to play hero ball.
Not to get knocked the hell out.
Yeah. But I mean, like as the game goes, what you don't want is us to have to rely on Andy. I think it's going to have to be a game where we rely on Zeke. But
the more pressure off Dalton, the better.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. And then the rest of it should just fall into place quite nicely. But bear in mind, this Ravens team at the moment is on a 3-game losing streak.
I really find that hard to believe. I really do.
Yeah. No, they are.
I mean, a part of it is Jackson. Another part of it is their. Another part is that I don't think they know it's a running back by committee.
Yes,
certainly looking at it from a fantasy perspective, you don't know if it's going to be Dobbins. You don't know, but again, that's where Jackson takes the pressure off, because you could have all 3 covered up, even including your running back, and then all of a sudden Jackson goes for 10 yards. That's why he's.
But here's one for you. I'm glad you mentioned that, because you just reminded me of one of the questions I was going to ask you, and I completely forgot what it was, and I wasn't going to say anything, but you reminded me. Thank you, Graham. You are my little Scottish cinnamon stick. So
I'm here for it.
That's what you're here for. Yeah. Now, Paul's face.
What?
So, okay.
What?
You know, you're okay. You're okay.
Cinnamon stick.
Oh,
Right,
jealousy.
I have to say something. Yeah, no.
It's not jealousy. It's pure confusion. Cinnamon stick.
It's because it's all S's and S's, isn't it?
I'm so confused. I don't know if it's
right.
the beer or what. I don't know.
It's the beer. It's the beer and the lack of sleep.
It's the beer, and it's a Wednesday night. Well, Wednesday morning.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is what happens to people in the UK who are NFL fans that come like this time of the week. Yeah, the sleep depravity is kicked in, and we're starting to go loopy. So we do apologize, but it's great watching. It's great to watch people go insane. Maybe not go insane. That's the wrong thing to say.
And people say Cowboy fans are crazy enough. Well, wait till you meet the UK Cowboys fans. We're just as crazy, if not worse.
Yeah. It's a little worrying. Right, anyway. What was my question? Oh, yeah, that's right. I got it back. So, right, Lamar Jackson, he is primarily known as a rushing quarterback, right? Literally. His RPO and the read run option that they play over in Baltimore is the mainstay of what they do, right? Yes. So much so, they are very close to being dead last in passing yards per game, right?
Yes.
Right. So the question I've got for you is, Lamar Jackson has been unable to practice, right? He's not been allowed in facility because of COVID protocol and rules. Is this a game where his game conditioning and the fact that he has been able to practice play in the Cowboys' favor? Remember, I said I was going to give you some positive spin?
Okay, that's a good point.
The
problem is it's
difficult. I mean, it's not like he
hasn't been able to practice. Yeah,
but it's
still Lamar Jackson, though. You don't know what the hell
he's been struggling. It's Lamar Jackson like light at the moment.
He is the 24th. He is the 24th running back in the league.
Yeah. He's struggling.
running back. He has 575 yards.
That's their quarterback as well.
Yeah. So basically, if you load the box, he has the ability to read that and throw over the top of you. But I think that's what your point is, Mike. Basically, that if you focus too much on the run, they'll sting you over the top. With his arm.
Me personally, though, is I would completely sell out on the run. Definitely. I know Hollywood Brown had a really good game last week, but to me, sell out completely against. They're nearly dead last in passing. And I know the comments that you're going to get is, "Oh, but this is the Cowboys defense. We make bad quarterbacks look good and all the rest." But in terms of ardent statistics, that is exactly the way I would play it. And I would be using.
I think if you go I'm going to agree with you. I think if you go balanced,
you lose.
They'll kill you on the ground. So you've got to. That's what the Patriots do. They take away the biggest strength. And
yes,
the Ravens' offense is definitely Lamar's feet because you've got two also rans as their running backs. So it's definitely Lamar Jackson on the ground. I mean, just looking at the stats from the Steelers game. I mean, Gus Edwards, 9 carries, 10 yards. Justice Hill, 9 for 35. Trace McSorley, 3 for 16. Robert Griffin, who is a relatively similar, 7 carries for 68.
RG3?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did have a spell.
I forgot he's the backup.
They're very, very similar. I mean, obviously Jackson is a mile ahead of him, and we'd start Jackson every day of the week. But again, I don't know if Dobbins missed this game, but certainly the two Ravens running backs are certainly fantasy wise. They're Dobbins and Edwards, and running backs are good measure in fantasy. You know, if like you. In fantasy, you stay away from running back by committee. But even we came up against a running back by committee in Los Angeles, and they ran us to death. So that little plaque, I wanted to make up that the Cowboys revive running games. It's not quite ready yet. I'll maybe get it for next season. But yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I think if we go run heavy on defense, certainly.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. That on offense, establish the run physique, take the pressure off Dalton. Conversely, on the other side, sell out against the run.
Yeah, but in that same breath, we've lost Wilson, we've lost Diggs, we've lost Brown. Da.
Well,
yeah.
But you've got to pick your poison.
It's funny that you kind of mentioned about the cornerbacks because Valenti asked a good fucking question there. Well, Dez, get a TD.
Andy, come on, man.
He is actually on my list as one of the guys. And funnily enough, Jerry Jones made comments about Dez this week and just said, look, the guy was a complete pain in the ass, but I love him to death. He's, and he is a good player, whether you like it or not. And I mean, this guy, you can say, what's he been like training, etc., etc. I mean, to be honest with you, all you got to do is if you follow him on Instagram, Dez has been running routes on Instagram for the last 3 years. So he is trained.
Let's pump the brakes a wee bit, shall we? He's played 3 games and he's got 4 catches.
I know.
So let's settle down a little bit. Dez Bryant. I know. Dez Bryant is a Cowboys hero. Absolute Cowboys hero. He's part of the 88 club. And Paul, I know exactly what you're going to say. It only takes one pass.
Yeah.
Can you not just? I mean, I'm gonna contradict myself slightly, but can you not just see it in the stars? Can you not just see it?
The thing is, it kind of goes to what I was just about to say. Is like it takes one pass, but especially when our secondary is the way they are right now. We don't have Diggs. We don't have Brown for this game. I mean,
I got an option for you though that everybody's missed, and I get to it in a second. But in terms
and also, that's a good point Valenti's just made. He has a point to prove because he's been out for a whole year. He wants to come back and says, "Yeah, I can still play ball." So and what way to do it against his old former team? Like it seems to like written in the stars, as you just said there, Graham.
I mean, let's remember how long it took him to find a team. I mean, let's not get carried away.
A year and a half.
I mean, it's not like he did.
Well, he was with New Orleans. Sorry, briefly until he had the ankle injury.
Yeah, I don't even think he played a game, did he?
No, he was due to play a game. Then obviously that's when the injury happened. Then after that, it was just went downhill. Like people when they signed
he was running
rags
on Instagram again.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't bring in Des Bryant because you're playing well at receiver level. You bring in a bit of leadership in Bryant, a bit of know-how, and a bit of kind of fade jump ball to help you out in the red zone. But like we've already covered, the Ravens are serviceable at wide receiver position because they've got so many strength elsewhere. So,
but I mean, the thing that you got. Somebody play into your heartstrings there. Mm-hmm. Somebody trying to just pluck on your heartstrings, mate.
Yeah. Cheers, Nickel.
I do believe though on defense, the two main guys right now. This is where we're going to get into a disagreement, right? But that's good, right? Now, first of all, my two first players on defense that are most important, and then I'm going to get to a guy that I think is going to be quite important as well, that we haven't seen or mentioned yet. So first of all, Randy Gregory. He needs to set the edge on the other side because they are going to attack that side like no one's business. The reason they're going to attack that side, and we need Randy Gregory to be on form, and this is where the disagreement will come in, is because of DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Now, I know what you're going to say, right? Yes, Tank does have his deficiencies in his game, right? Most notably, getting sacks, right? He does get to the quarterback, hassle, all the rest of it. Where DeMarcus Lawrence... the hell is that? Oh, right, okay. Where DeMarcus Lawrence... Yeah, I could just see something... I could see something wafting about. I was thinking, what the hell is he doing?
Is DeMarcus Lawrence come to hit Paul?
No, but where DeMarcus Lawrence makes his money is run stopping, and it's always been run stopping. So much so that players or teams, coaches, and they know this, they very rarely try to go on the outside of him, which is why I think it's going to be Randy Gregory that's most important. And we have a guy agreeing with me. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Austin Powers.
Yeah. Now, I know, though, Gray, that hurts your feelings. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about Tank, and I don't disagree with you there. Sorry. Yeah, I don't disagree. But what I disagree with is the fact that Tank, he is a good defensive end. He's not a defensive end. He's not a
pass rusher.
He's not a pass rusher. He's a defensive end. Yes.
Yes.
And definitely in a 4-3. You can't have him in a 3-4 stand-up position. It does not work for him.
Yeah. I'm going to actually disagree with both of you, by the way, like in terms of Randy Gregory and D-Law. I think the most important person worth not actually mentioned at all is going to be Antoine Woods.
Yeah. You tend to find, though, a lot of their runs go on the outside.
I know, but I think he has a key part to play to help free up our defensive ends. He does need to make sure that he takes his assignments. He needs to take on two offensive linemen, get those double blocks to help, like Sid Gregory and D-Law out big time. So that's why I'm saying. Don't forget, obviously, Gallimore. But Gallimore is going to be, depending on where the strength side of the ball is going to be, I think Gallimore's going to be more on the weak side for in case Lamar Jackson pulls out.
I agree. Yeah,
right?
he's
And
got it. I would put Gallimore on the weak side and
whereas
Antoine more on the strong. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So Antoine should be on the strong side, take on the double team, whatever that may be, and whoever's on the strong side of the defensive end, that gives him a more of a one-on-one situation.
Yes, yeah, and because really what you're trying to do is you're trying to leave more than anything, which is the most important, I feel, to winning this game is Leighton Van Der Esch.
My former teammate for the EK Pirates, Nickel, just pretty much kind of agreeing with what I was just kind of saying there. But he also made the comment: is the Ravens centre injured?
I will double check and get back to you on that one. I can check that while we talk. But
and always in double coverage.
Yeah. No, I've lost where I am because I was trying to do too many things at once. But most important, the reason why you want Randy Gregory to be setting the edge and like you say, the middle to be eating up blocks is because you need Leighton Van Der Esch to be free and open to cover the RPO and the read options. And the read option run that Lamar Jackson's going to be doing. And if you leave that free and you've got Leighton Van Der Esch coming in and sweeping up what's left behind, winning formula.
Well, if we're going to be focused more on those two running backs and not so much the right receivers, then it's going to open up the doors for Van Der Esch to run the blitz as well. Don't forget that.
I don't think I would be blitzing them. I would definitely. I want them to be playing. I want Van Der Esch as my QB spy.
Well, look what we did against the Vikings. It was quite effective that way. Van Der Esch was a bit of a menacing behemoth in that game, to be honest. How he tackled Kirk Cousins to the ground, but I mean, it could. What's up?
I'm just going through the injury list, and it's huge.
What, the Ravens?
Yeah. And we were just talking about Calais Campbell. He's just come up as questionable, today, as we were talking.
Wow, that is a game changer.
DJ Fluker. Just trying to find the ones. There's so many on here. Just trying to find the right ones that are like Jalen Ferguson. There's another one. You got Christian Welsh. There's a lot of doubtfuls in here too. But they're the most. Brandon Williams, who we were just talking about. There's another guy. DJ Fluker. So he's the only one coming up on their O-line that is injured or questionable.
So see, now that you mention that, and now we pulled up the score for what Law Thomas mentioned, or Law Nation posted, right?
Yeah.
I think he already knew that about in terms of the injuries, so that's why now I kind of think that's why he went for that scoreline. And now
I'll give you my scoreline at the end, and you'll be like, "Whoa!"
Everyone, I will post up Law Thomas's Law Nation's score at the end, but be sure to get your scores in the comments as well, and I will get through them at the end.
Yeah, we'll get to them, and because we're literally coming towards the end of the looking at the defense, because the other most important piece, which has always been Lamar Jackson's safety valve, is their tight end Mark Andrews, and he is out. Oof. And Mark Andrews, he makes a living in short space, and he is always effective. When we talk terms of fantasies, as we will in a moment, that Mark Andrews is always a handy tight end to have on your fantasy team, because he does produce.
Just to go back to the LVE spy for a minute.
Yes.
Can you afford to have Jackson 1-for-1 on defense?
If Randy Gregory is setting the edge and it brings Lamar Jackson having to kick on the inside, you'll be totally fine there. He's going to get yards. Yeah. He's going to get yards, but bear in mind his conditioning is down, because he hasn't been on practicing, and you're going to blow him out.
If you keep Lamar contained inside the bubble, then fine. Yep. Don't make sure that if he puts out, then you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, if he does run, he's not going Tank's way.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, I'd be more worried about Randy, to be honest. But
Yeah,
like I said,
that's the most important piece.
It's interesting we're not talking about Alden Smith.
well, he's
He
doubtful.
seems to have just disappeared. He's gone really quiet. He had his 5 sacks at the start of the season and then just gone.
He's kind of went more into the same situation what D-Law's doing right now. He's more becoming a defensive end rather than a pass rusher.
He did get a tackle for loss against the Redskins, against Washington. But like you say, it has
the
fallen.
team with no name.
It has kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit.
I wonder if that for Alden Smith, a lot of that is due to what we're just talking about, conditioning.
Gregory coming back
out of the league, and that at the start of the season, his battery's full. He's got plenty in the tank, and you go through a bit of the season, and all of a sudden it's like, oof. Yeah. Now I remember what 16 games is like.
Yeah.
But he has. But right, the thing no one's talking about. The piece that we could finally see and raises a question mark if he doesn't see the field. Reggie Robinson, the second. He sat right there, our 4th round draft pick. Haven't seen him in a jersey all season. Donovan Wilson's out.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah. Now, I spoke to Brad Sham about this, and he said exactly what you just said. It could be a case. He doesn't know for certain because they're not allowed, obviously, in the building, COVID restrictions, yeah. But the reason could be is he's just not good enough. So the question I got for you is, do we think we'll see him this week? And if we don't, okay, yes, he was out. You're quite right there, Steve. He was goners. And he's a good offensive lineman too. But the question I got is, do we see Reggie Robinson this week? And if we don't, does that mean that we made a bad choice with our 4th round draft pick?
I can't really. It's too early to say. I can't. We can't really possibly comment. Only the coaches know that. We won't know till we actually see him on the field to make an evaluation.
Do you hope to see him this week? Do you think that we should just go for it?
I mean, we would let that way Tristan Hill 2 years ago. Like, he barely seen the field, and we were slating him for God knows for under the sun, saying, he's probably not cut out for it or whatever and that. Then we see him this year. He was actually doing really progressively well up till the injury.
Yeah.
So
I think there's every chance we'll see him because it's next man up.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
And again, this goes back to my whole argument about this game being on a Wednesday. I'm sorry I keep mentioning it, but it's true. It should be a next man up. It shouldn't have to be fucking rescheduled. Play it back on Sunday. We shouldn't be having to do a pre-game show on the Tuesday. It should be the post-game.
I poked the bear.
Rightio, folks. Sorry. It is that time of the show before we move into the final part of the fantasy section. Score predictions. I've got mine.
Okay.
I've got mine.
I've got a few comments in already, so we'll get them going. Everyone get your scores in.
Get your scores in, and I will begin. So I feel this is going to be quite a slugfest. Some on the ground.
Thank you, Austin.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing.
Come on, he's fired up enough. We don't need any fuel in the fire.
So, yes, I got my score predictions in. I don't know what you guys are going for. I'm going for that this is going to be quite a high-scoring game based on statistics. That was what I mentioned in the news at the start. Savion Smith, our cornerback, brought in from the practice squad. One of the guys, as we were saying, we spoke about quite heavily during the draft season. So my score prediction is going to be to the Cowboys, 38-34.
That high?
Yep.
Jeez.
Yep. I'm telling you, man. You watch. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Basically, the Ravens...
I'll leave mine to last, but I'll bring everyone else's up while you're talking away, okay?
Yeah. All I'm saying is that the Cowboys, 156 yards allowed on the ground, which is dead last. Baltimore Ravens second in terms of rushing. So this is where they make their bread and butter. So they're going to get a lot of points. But we can do the same to them. And that's where I think we're going to get the win from. Go on then, great. What have you got for me on the score predictions?
I think it's going to be low scoring, solely down to the amount of run. I think there will be very little clock time, if you get my meaning. Like the clock will run. I hate doing it.
Don't do it,
folks. 17-10 Ravens.
That is exactly what I was kind of thinking. I'm being perfectly honest with you, Graham. But at the same time, after we were talking about like the injuries and stuff like that, I'm kind of intrigued what our friend Law was saying. 28-24. A lot of mistakes could happen. There's a lot of injuries on both sides of the ball. It could be a high-scoring game. Maybe not your level, Mike. Jeez.
I'm telling you. You watch.
Right. Again, I'll recap through everyone's scores. So Law went for 28-24. Austin's went for 17-13. Dallas. I can live for that. I can see that as a more realistic approach, given the state. Valenti's went 30-12. So I'm just trying to figure out the scoreboard on that. So
field goals or maybe a safety.
Field goals, safety.
Missed field goal or missed extra point or 2-point conversion.
Nico has went for 24-21. Again, close. It's not far off the ballpark as Law, and also not far off from Austin. And Lorne finally has went with 27-23 to the Ravens. So we're actually nearly every score has actually been near from the same ballpark. It's not been by a great distance. It's like been 3 points or 7 points. I think the most has been Valenti's by 18 points.
Yeah.
But all the rest of them been very close. So
very close game.
But
I can see that.
I don't really want to predict because it's either going to be two ways. It's either going to be I see it what Graham is predicting, or I'm going to see it the way how more Law's predicting. Like I can't really choose. I can't really predict and choose a
You're going to have to. Sorry, everybody's giving a score prediction, so you have to too, young man.
You know what? Based on my boy,
go in the 30s. Go in the 30s.
Fuck off! No,
come on, go in the 30s.
No. I'll go more based on close to Nico and a Law. I'll say 24-17 Cowboys.
Alrighty. Right then, let's get into the fantasy and we can wrap this up. And
Valenti in with the last kill on. I wish I was wrong.
I wish I was too, Andy. I hate predicting Cowboys losses, but the Ravens have Yannick Ngakoue, and we don't know who our left tackle is. That's the scale. Yeah. Yannick Ngakoue has 11 sacks on the season, and he doesn't know who he's up against.
Just at the top, no one's criticising you, Graham. No one's criticising you, Andrew. Like no one should be criticising you because it's like you're trying to base it on the fact that what we've got at the moment, and it's true. It's like. Do we really have that strong chance of winning? Like we do have a chance, but we're not going to steamroll. That's a given fact. It's either going to be a close win, or it's going to be a close loss, or a big loss. It's only going to be those three options. I think.
Yeah, I can't see there being a big divergence in scores. It's going to be kept close, definitely. But let's get into fantasy, guys. I know this is kind of like. A little bit pointless, but we'll get these predictions in. I know normally when we do this is on a Thursday, so we've got a bit more time to look at all of the fantasy, but we're only got the one game. So let's get into it. Remember, the way it works, if I'm going to give you the predicted score. If it's more, it's a boy, oh boy, because it's got more letters in. If it's less then it's oh boy. All right, so play at home, and we'll see. I'll have to start doing a leaderboard on this because a lot of people get involved in this section. See who ends up with the best score. Maybe do a bit of a giveaway. I think we'll do that next season.
I was just about to say I could do a big prize giveaway.
Yeah, I'm going to do that next season then. The boy oh boy giveaway. Right, all right then. Who wants to go first?
Paul.
Thanks, Liam.
I need to work on my ventriloquism.
Do I give Paul the easy ones or the hard ones again? Okay, let's be kind. All righty. I
think we'd be censored from Facebook if that was the case.
It is something we have looked at doing live shows during the game. It probably be something we'll do next season.
I think for like the fans, they would rather just prefer to actually watch the game rather than us talking a lot of crap. To be honest,
it's the second time we've had that question, mine.
Yeah.
All right then. Right. Okay. You're going first, right then? Boy oh boy or oh boy for Lamar Jackson? 20 fantasy points. That's real.
Paul, mate, do you even have to think about it?
Yeah.
Come on.
This is Paul. Write you down, yeah.
I don't even have to. Did I really? I didn't even have to say it.
Nah, yeah. Boy oh boy, and it's not even close.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Okay.
Valenti's win. Boy oh boy.
Boy oh boy. Actually, I'll put that in there then. All right.
I thought you were going to say high 20s. To be quite honest.
I just find it funny whenever you see stuff like that. You're like, oh my, boy oh boy. Right. Okay then. Andy Dalton. And there's going to be a bit of a theme that crops up here. Andy Dalton, 14 points.
Personally, I think that's harsh.
Can't me. If I was to actually go to the betting shop and they gave me the over-under of 14.5 fantasy points, I'd take the over.
If you said 17, I would have been that's bang in the middle. That's bang spot on.
Yeah. 17, I'd be like, ooh, maybe even 16. But 14, I'd be taking the over on that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Graham. I'm pushing you for an answer.
I'm going to get the hard ones this week, aren't I?
Yep.
Now you're choosing me there, don't you?
I mean, it was only last week in relative terms, but Andy Dalton, 215 yards, touchdown and interception. That's 14 form.
Yeah. Remember, Andy Dalton is where the Dalton scale come from.
Oh God.
I love that.
He's the perfect 500 percentile QB, isn't he?
Oh yeah, right, smack bang.
Right, I'm stalling for time here. Boy oh boy, simply because it's 14 points.
Yeah. Alrighty, I'm gonna give you. Right, you got a bit of a toughie here, and I'm as soon as I saw it, I went with an answer. So, Paul, you've got J.K. Dobbins, 11 fantasy points.
Oh, sorry. Valenti's win boy oh boy for Dalton now. And what was that Nicholas said? ATN reference.
Yeah, the Dalton scale.
Sorry, say that again. J.K. Dobbins.
11 fantasy points.
He's no. I'll be honest. Dobbins has no really exceeded those expectations. I'll be honest, all season. So I don't see why he's going to start now.
Yeah, but and like the way I see it, he's in a 3-man committee.
Well,
maybe
I'm
going
to say he's trying to be demanded a bit more in this game, but I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to. So I am going to say just, oh boy.
Yeah.
Only just.
I think doing the same.
If you said 9, 8.5 points in that region, then I would have said bang on the middle.
By the way I see it, you've got Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus the Bus.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
That's
boy.
a big committee.
Oh
That's
boy.
a big committee.
Yep. Valenti in with the comment. Oh boy. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yep.
it has to be. Right, Zeke. And I'm needing from Zeke and Dalton Schultz
20
this
plus
week.
points. Give me it. Give me it.
I need 24 points from Zeke and Schultz, which is possible. And so everyone knows, that is for the NFL UK. Yeah. That's for the NFL UK League for the UK Cowboys. So Zeke is looking, Graham, at, and there's a theme, 14 fantasy points.
Lord of mercy. Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord. Come on, baby.
I had to put that comment there.
Yeah. I think that's in the UK Cowboys Gallup League, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know which league Valenti. I think he's in that. That's the league he's in.
Valenti has his
I'm in, but not there, but in like 9 leagues. But that's all for UK Cowboys.
To give you,
come on, Greg. Come on, Greg.
To give you a take, right? I have Zeke Elliott in. I think it's only the one fantasy league this year simply because he goes so high. Yeah. He always goes top 4 picks, right?
Yeah.
So for some reason he fell to 7, and I managed to get him anyway.
That's good value.
When I hit optimize on the NFL app, Zeke hasn't appeared in my starting lineup for at least 3 weeks.
I know, yeah, that's quite funny.
And there's a reason for that. It's because Zeke's first point of contact is always behind the line of scrimmage nowadays.
I know this for a fact. That did you know Zeke has the lowest average for yards before being contact, is 0.8 yards. So he's going less than a yard before getting contact.
No wonder.
I don't know where I read that.
I've actually got a few responses already to what they think it's going to be. So Valenti's winning Boyo Boy.
Defo.
And Mr. Austin Powers, who's watching on YouTube right now, he is winning Boyo Boy as well.
Yeah, of course. Come on, Greg, give it to me then. I'm rushing you now.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, simply down to workload. Simply down to workload.
Okay. Which one do you want, Paul? Do you want Des or Hollywood Brown? I'll give you either one.
It's 6.5, isn't it?
Yeah, come on.
Give me Des.
Des, 10 fantasy points.
Spot on.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I genuinely think he is going to. I think he's going to get that mystical touchdown, and he's going to get 40 points. 40 yards.
So you're going to buy a boy on that one? Fine, right?
No.
Right.
40 yards. So I would say
40 and a touchdown.
That's 10 points.
Yeah. Maybe less. Maybe even less if you're playing a I
tell you what, I've caused a bit of controversy.
Oh dear.
Well, wait till you see this.
Come on then. Yeah. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised with that comment.
Okay. My question is for you, Valenti. I know you're watching right now. Give us what you think the points you think that Des is going to score against us. I'm really curious to know.
To fill everybody in, Andrew Valenti is the president of the UK Cowboys Des Supporters Club, and has been since he got drafted.
And I suppose making a good point there. That he's a red zone threat, and that will make it. That could make up. He is the perfect red zone target.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It depends what league that you're playing in. If you're playing in a point per reception, and the ones that really I'm doing, it's a half PPR, so he could do it. If you balance out a few shorter passes, and then you get nice.
Wow.
You get a nice dart through in the red zone.
Okay, Valencia. Maybe I won't go that far, but I think he might get a touchdown, but I wouldn't say 2.
Yeah.
All
right, then.
I don't know.
Great.
I don't know.
Great. Pushing you for an answer on Cooper, Amari Cooper. Guess what? 14 fantasy points.
Do you know what? Boy, oh boy. Simply because he is our constant. Yeah, there's a very, very high ceiling, high floor with Amari Cooper. And by that, I mean, even though the performance could be down, it's still very, very serviceable. It's always serviceable from Amari Cooper. I mean, even if it just gets the one catch, the run after catch always makes him effective.
What was the prediction again?
14 fantasy points on Amari.
And I said, boy, oh boy.
Definitely, I go.
Look, I would say it's like if you said 17, that would have been a fair like ballpark level, Like it could be that wee point down, but 14, boy oh boy, I would agree in that one.
Yeah.
So Valencia agrees on that one, and I'm quite surprisingly, our friend on YouTube thinks he won't do it because he doesn't trust Amari on the road.
The road split, I get that.
Yeah,
I think he's getting. I think he's getting past that though, Amari. I think he's getting past that issue.
Especially this season. This season he has been a lot better. Like last season, he was really bad on the road.
Yes, disappeared. I'm wondering if that's down to the foot issue though.
We've got a wee question from Stephen. He's asking Cooper Lamb to get more points.
Right, predicted wise, Coop will get more, but I think Lamb is going to be more free because Coop's going to draw the double coverage.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, then. Let's finish it off with the defensive special teams for each team. Paul, you have, obviously, the Ravens, because you've been doing the Ravens players. They have 7 fantasy points predicted.
Why the fuck was that? Why am I giving the Ravens?
Because our...
I'm alright kidding.
Do you know why you got the Ravens? Because Mike likes roasting me with the Cowboys defense. That's why.
It's always a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun.
Right. Fair enough. That's fair enough. Right, so how many points? 7.
7. Ben Roethlisberger.
I'm gonna have to say boy oh boy, because of what Graham was saying earlier, the number 2 defense, they've had the most forced fumbles within the team in that. That's a concern. Given Zeke, 1 fumble every 2 games. So, and not to mention that it's the takeaways as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to swing higher than 7. So boy oh boy.
Alrighty. And Graham, you get the Cowboys defense with 6.
Ooh.
That's
low.
That's low.
It is low.
That's
when you think
I'll tell you why,
when you think you get points for a sack.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's low. Low.
I just wish we had somebody that could actually get a sack. Burn.
Back over the net.
Now I'm going to say boy oh boy, simply because I think if I don't see Jackson having a huge game in the air, and I predicted a low score. I don't know if anybody's checked the weather, but they're expecting freezing temperatures tonight.
Okay.
So that might play into it a little bit.
Loving Austin's comments tonight. On the same frame of thought as me.
Austin's on fire with the comments. Same with Valenti as well. Maybe not so much. Maybe not so much the TDs, mate. But
so yeah, I think. I mean, let's face it. They start on 10, so
things can only go up.
I'm going to go boy oh boy.
Yeah,
I would too. I think you're going to get some tackles for a loss in the backfield, few sacks on Lamar. Like you say, Randy Gregory, I could see setting the edge, getting some on the outside.
No,
Neville Gallimore taking some back.
I'm saying Anton Woods is trying to get a sack. That's my prediction.
Anton Woods, yeah.
Mhm.
And then we'll see Reggie Robinson come on the field and get a pick six.
Just announce.
Mike, how much sneak have you drank tonight?
This is actually my second one today. And it does say on the packet, only have one a day.
Well, there you go.
Probably why my face is red. No, my face looks red. It's not sunburnt. It's probably too much energy drinks. Right, okay. That is it for, I was going to say this week. Is far from it from us from this week.
I know. I think we should actually say we do apologise for the change of schedule, but it's not our fault because the NFL are being absolute douchebags. I'm sorry. But because normally, like I said, this would normally be the post-game show with our host Brian, but unfortunately, the NFL decided to switch things about. So, and actually, we've actually got a pre-game show this week, do we not?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be on
Friday this week.
We're going to be on Friday as well for the game against Cincinnati. And so you guys are getting 3 shows this week. So
3 shows back to back. The hat. Yeah. So by the time Friday comes, so we got this one, then we got the post game show with Brian coming up after this game tomorrow, maybe Thursday. I don't know. I think it's Thursday. Then Friday, you will really see us at the end of our tether because like we're going to be on zilch sleep. And I'm going to have a beer. I'm having a beer Friday. So God knows what's going to happen there. I'm afraid.
I think they should put Paul in on D-line tonight because he's going to light somebody up in a minute.
Fuck. Cool. You can back me up on that.
But yes, it is. We've got another 2 shows coming up this week. So plenty more to come. Like I said, we did have special guests. They've been booked for later on in the season now. Later on down the line, we do have guests for next week, and hopefully things will all get back to normal. And then we're into the business end of things. Then when the season ends and we get into the draft season. So from myself for today. Mr. Paul Stewart and Mr. Graham Wilson. This is UK Cowboys TV. We will see you later on in the week. Stay safe.
Catch you later, guys.
See you next time.
Bleh.